We are live. It is MinerTalk. It's MinerTalk presented by Jack in the Box. All right, we are live here. Thank you, guys. MinerTalk is here presented by Jack in the Box. I'm Adrian Broaddus. He's Sal Montes, Andy Inestrosa in the house. He's producing MinerTalk tonight. He's creating phone calls and getting you ready here for this one here on the program tonight. Our telephone number now is 550-56009. We are live on Inspo Lens. Chris Cullen's back in the house, back in the building. We're presented by Jack in the Box here on MinerTalk. As always, so excited to be back with Chris. He and his wife Sonia recently celebrated an anniversary, and big shout out to Chris, who's back with us here live. He didn't miss anything on the football MinerTalk edition. And as far as basketball, I've got a lot of thoughts. I mean, both. I'd say that there's a lot of vitriol, a lot of people who are upset about today. The second half, I get it. Loyola Marymount beats UTEP 71-58. We'll talk about it here on the program. 915-505-6009, our telephone number. 600 ESPN El Paso, Twitter next, and 600 ESPN El Paso. Loyola Marymount outscored the Miners 37-20, almost by 2. Like, they almost knocked them down by 2 in that one. But, in the first half, there were some bright spots. They were up 38-34, and we'll talk about those bright spots. I get it. I get the frustration. I get why people are so upset after this one. The second half was disgusting. You can be really upset about that second half, and I don't really blame you. I said it going into this one, and I'll reiterate it. I wasn't going to take too much from this one, nor the Utah State game, even though the Miners do need to show up in these kind of games. And, what they did in the second half, 23% from the field, 22% from beyond the arc, 2 for 9 on three-point attempts, by the way. Only 13 rebounds in the second half, 4 assists to 4 turnovers, 2 steals. The ball was just not moving in the first half, or it had no chance against Loyola Marymount when it was all said and done. Disappointed in the second half. That's what I could take away.
And I think it was a similar sequence that we've seen, right? Start out strong in the first half, and then the first couple of series in the second half, it's not even slightly favored. It's heavily favored, and you could tell adjustments were made that they capitalized on. Just able to be more aggressive than the Miners and more efficient. They took good care of the ball when it mattered the most. And hey, man, their shots continued to fall, whereas the Miners, it did not. So that's pretty much the story. It's like just 15 minutes or so of really good basketball for Loyola Marymount. That's really all they needed.
Yeah, and I'd say as far as this UTEP squad goes tonight, there's takeaways that we have from certain players. We can talk about different players. We can talk about all the different things that Loyola Marymount threw out there. Here's the overarching thing. Here's what you see overall with UTEP right now. They're just small. They're kind of, they're undersized, and that's what's going to hurt them night in, night out. And they've got to figure out either, Sal, how they keep up offensively or how they make up for the, inability to hang in there as far as the size goes. Because tonight, it was guys who were like, okay, they were kind of decent, but they were just clearly much taller and, even much more physical than the Miners down the stretch. It was Loyola Marymount just showing their size, flexing that, and just kind of overpowering the Miners when it was all said and done.
Yeah, and for the Miners, that's kind of like you got to play a certain way, and it cannot really stray away from it. So when adversity hits, it's not that they can't overcome it mentally. It's just physically, man, it just may be too much. And this is only game 1 against a Division I team. So we're going to see how it's going to stack up later. But unless things go an exact certain way, it's going to be really, really tough for the Miners to keep up.
Our telephone number here on the program, 915-505-6009, 600 ESPN El Paso, Twitter next, and 600 ESPN El Paso, our free mobile app. I also want to give a big shout-out to all of our people who are watching us on Inspo Lens right now. Check us out on Inspo Lens. That's where we're at right now. That's where we are originating. Our telephone number, 915-505-6009. This is coming in on our app. It's the 5th year here, and it's the same old thing. No offense, nothing going to change. Joe Golding needs to go. I'm out for this year. I'm saying it now. They won't have more than 12 to 15 wins this year if they're lucky. Wow. A lot of Yeah, a lot of hate already from fans when it comes to this. By the way, attendance tonight, and I posted this not too long ago on Twitter and X. Attendance tonight, Sal, 3,534 people. Not a lot at all.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand why. It's a Tuesday. It's very rare. If this team, was coming off, a big season last year, I could understand if there were more fans here. But I mean, they're just waiting for better competition. Looking across the schedule, it doesn't raise a lot of excitement, for the fans. But nonetheless, man, I mean, what'd you say, 39?
No, 35. 3,500. Yeah.
Sheesh, yeah, that's tough. And Loyola's I don't want to say they're an amazing team. They're a respectable opponent, but nah, I understand it, man.
Okay, let's go back to a couple sponsors that we want to thank here on the program, by the way. Jack in the Box, who's our presenting sponsor, thinking way outside the box and open 24/7 because cravings don't have a curfew. Also, big shout out to Boomy Dental. They're rooted in El Paso. Here for you as your family dentistry. They help out with new patients. They actually get 30% off their treatment and cleaning plus exam and x-rays for just $99. Mention El Paso Roots. I'm rocking my El Paso Roots t-shirt right now. And check them out online, boomydental.com. That's BUMIdental.com. Give them a call, 915-591-2525. And then I'm rocking my hat right now, 915 Tours, Thomas Adams Apparel. First off, shout out to 915 Tours. Saw David Garman and the family out there tonight. They were enjoying themselves, having a great time. Thomas Adams Apparel is the one who made these hats, these awesome MinerTalk hats. We're completely out. Sal's got them. Samir's got them.
Yep.
Andy's got them. I've got them, of course, but we're completely out. We have no more of these right now. But if you want to order hats like these, custom hats, polos, hoodies, quarter zips, and more designed just for you, your business, or even your sports team, check them out online, thomasadamsapparel.com, to start your custom design and elevate your style. That's thomasadamsapparel.com here on the program today. Zay is in the house. We've got full phone lines. We're gonna waste no time. Let's jump to the phone lines and let's start talking to some listeners out there. 915-505-6009. We're live on Inspo Lens. Check us out there as well. First to the phone lines we go. It is Jacob who's joining us first. Jacob, good evening. You're back with us on MinerTalk, man. What's going on?
Yes, sir, Adrian. Thanks for having me.
Wow, man. The first caller here of the basketball program is you, Jacob. Jacob, how old are we now? We're 12 now?
No, 14.
14. Man, MinerTalk is growing. Okay, I love it. You tell us, Jacob. Give me your thoughts.
I feel like one of the reasons we lost today was because our shot selection was not the best. I feel like we could have just took better, more like easier shots. Like some of the shots we were just taking were kind of bad, and there was no need for that. And then I also feel like our number one scorer this year is going to be Caleb Blackwell. But, I mean, they kind of shut him down in the second half. He didn't do much after that, after the first, 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, he kind of stopped after the first half. The 9 points scoring barrage you saw from, Caleb Blackwell was impressive, but then in the second half, just like you mentioned, kind of shut down, no points, 0 for 5 shooting, and he grabbed 2 rebounds, he got an assist, but quiet second half, to say the least, by Caleb Blackwell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also think they have to put 2 halves together. They just fell off in the second half. I don't know. Looks like they just lost all their juice out there.
They did, and then it goes back to the second half adjustments and lack thereof from the coaching staff. And people are going to remember it from last year and the years past, and they're going to say, well, Joe Golding coach squads don't typically do great out of the half. And, you get all those narratives out there for sure. And then at the same time, UTEP's got to step up in these second halves, and they've got to look better. It's a tale of 2 halves indeed, Jacob. At one point in the first half, it looked solid, It looked like this team could actually win this game. And then the second half, they just completely crumbled, and they fell apart in that second half. Better shot selection, I agree completely offensively. And as far as, moving forward, if it's Caleb Blackwell the guy, if it's Tyrese Watson being the guy, if it's Jamal West being the guy, somebody's got to step up in the second half and make some buckets. And then they got to play better as a team moving forward. Back to the phones we go. Let's keep phones moving, and then we'll get Zay's thoughts as he just walked in the building. We'll get Sal's thoughts as well. 915-505-6009. We just freed up a phone line. James, good evening, man. What's going on?
Thank you very much for taking my call. was at the game, and my God, I mean, size-wise, I mean, just the legs, I mean, they just pushed us around. They really did. Even in the first half, I mean, you knew that Loyola Marymount was going to make a run. But, again, it goes back to not calling key timeouts. I mean, okay, we were still hanging in there, but not calling the timeout when in the second half when all of you could see that Loyola Marymount was starting to just gain that momentum. But it's going to be a long, long season, guys. It really is. And, I mean, I think it's just the culture. I mean, we gave up 4 season tickets and the very low rows because of the administration and the coaching. I'm glad we did because, I mean, it's going to be a tough season. And we're still all Miner fans, but, geez, I don't know. But thank you for having.
Yeah, I hear you, James. Appreciate your phone call. Thanks for weighing in. So gave up lower bowl season tickets, family of 4. Wow. You heard it there. I mean, James is one of those UTEP fans, diehard UTEP fans who's been calling this show for a long time. And for him to say, hey, I'm actually, giving up those tickets right there, not coming back, glad that I did that, don't regret it. I mean, that's tough for a lot of people to hear from out there. Let's get one more. Let's duck one more call in, then we'll get some reactions. 915-505-6009. Chris is next up with us. Chris, good evening, man. What's going on?
Hey, good evening, guys. How's it going?
It's going well. How about you, Chris? You give us your thoughts.
All right, man. I just gotta disagree a couple things with Sal saying about the attendance, about blaming Loyola Marymount. That's for our non-conference. That's one of the better teams we're going to see all season, and it just starts from the re-signing of Golding. Trust me, I'm a big Miner supporter of football, basketball. Been watched as a kid. My son's a freshman now, and he's been loving me ever since. And he just questions everything, which I don't blame him. But we got to. UTEP's our Paso team, but something has to change. And I know you guys got to be very optimistic about the season, but
no, we don't. We don't need to be optimistic about the season.
I think this is the first year where I think bottom of the barrel, but what are we going to do in bottom of the barrel? We just re-signed Golding. Are we going to keep him next year? Like, it just, I don't know. It is very frustrating. 3,000 fans against the Loyola Marymount, where they're supposed to finish middle of the pack in their conference, and we lose 14 at home. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, the 14-point loss is something that you're not going to like whatsoever, Chris. Like that, and as far as being optimistic or not, or like the pessimistic view, just to touch on that, like, we've seen it where it doesn't, like, what matters to you, Chris? Does it matter that no one's going to be in the Haskins Center until February? Because that's the reality. I mean, these upcoming non-conference games at home outside of the Westar Don Haskins Sun Bowl Invitational are not exciting. And then January, they're on the road in conference play. So then you're talking about not coming back to the Don until February. Are they going to be playing meaningful basketball in February? That's why, look, like, there's no optimistic or pessimistic approach from us. We're just going to give it to you, try to give it to you like it is, and try to give you a fair approach and a fair perspective, season in and season out. And I'd say, what we've learned from Joe Golding coach squads 2 years ago, we wrote that team off in January, and then in March they're playing for a chance to go to the NCAA tournament in the Conference USA Championship. So I want to see how this team does in February. I want to see how this team does in March, and can they peak at the right time? Because in a one-bid league like Conference USA, it doesn't matter. But when you're building a foundation and building a future for the Mountain West, that's a multi-bid league. And if UTEP doesn't rise to the top, I think the Mountain West could be in jeopardy of not sending, multiple teams into the, NCAA tournament moving forward. And it's not because of UTEP. It's because of, the average teams that you see in the new look Mountain West. And those average teams need to be strong in order for you to justify having multiple teams in the NCAA tournament. So that's how I look at things as well.
Okay. Let me just ask you this one last question, and I'll let you guys move on to the next one. I appreciate what you guys do, staying up late. You guys do what you do. It's awesome. It gives us something to look forward to after minor games.
Appreciate it.
what would you do if UTEP finishes in the bottom 4 in Conference USA? Do we keep Golding going into the Mountain West where competitions, obviously we're not getting the same teams for next year in the Mountain West. I know some teams are leaving, but are we sticking with Golding, or are we starting are we going to refresh everything, get a new coaching staff? How do you guys see it?
Okay. Hey, appreciate it, Chris. That's a perfect time to bring in the Brain Trust here on the program. Zay and Sal with us as we continue. Appreciate everything. Appreciate all the good string of calls, by the way. Full phone lines, 915-505-6009 here on the program as we continue. I'll get your guys' thoughts. I'll weigh in quickly. I'd say no. I mean, look, they can't afford it, dude. They can't afford half of the NIL that they have out there. They're trying to be like semi-competitive in NIL and Conference USA, but you think with a 3-year extension, including this year, and 2 more after that they could afford just buying Golding out, whatever that cost is, whatever that budget looks like? Like, Zay, I'll start with you, and welcome to the program for the first time. I just think that's an unfair ask, despite what people might think after this year if they're in the bottom 4. Like, take football for consideration. They're looking like they're going to be in the bottom 4 of Conference USA. What do you do after that?
Yeah, I think, look, in my opinion, if UTEP does end up in the bottom 4 of Conference USA this year in basketball, I agree with you. I don't think that they'd, fire Joe Golding, especially after that 3-year contract. But, if you want to win, that's the move that you have to make. You find a way. You find a way if you want to win, if you want to do that. Because you see it with these big-time schools, and I know they have money. They have money to throw, but, Jimbo Fisher's still getting paid from Texas A&M. Brian Kelly's going to be getting paid from LSU for the next who knows how long. That's in football, right? But I can probably look up, do a little research, find some crazy buyouts in basketball that would, that would end up happening at schools that want to win. And I think if UTEP was serious about this, that would be the move they make. But, like you said, money makes the world go round, and that's something UTEP doesn't have to throw around like that.
Sal?
Yeah, I just don't see it. It's not in the budget right now, and who knows? Let's see how they finish throughout the year, and if the team is still, fighting 110%. I know you want to see wins, but, if you look at the football team, you can kind of see how a little bit of dejection, whereas with basketball, they're just out-talented and outworked, for the most part. So I say no, just to keep it short.
Okay. I also think, look, what do you do roster making wise, right? Because that's the other thing I look at. They had 600,000 in NIL around that mark. Maybe that's competitive in Conference USA from everything we hear. The one thing that I don't like to hear is that NMSU, New Mexico State, has more to play with. Maybe like 300,000 more to play with than what UTEP, supposedly has an NIL total budget. So I don't love that right there, guys. And I think that that's also an issue right there, too. You got to go into the Mountain West with more momentum under your belt. You got to have more NIL dollars going under your belt going into the Mountain West, and that's another thing to look at here in the future. Let's go back to the phones right now, 915-505-6009. Back to full phone lines we go. We've got a bunch of people to get to. Let's go to Andrew first. Andrew, good evening, man. What's going on?
Hey, good evening, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Just want to say, I was really, first half, I'm super hyped. I thought, this is a new team. It's a brand new team, right? Making threes. And then I feel like they just turned into a classic Golding team in the second half. Like what we've seen these past however many years it's been. That's what a Golding team is. That's what it was in my mind going into this game. And so they really surprised me with the way they were making threes and stuff. And I had to leave, so I was listening on the radio. It didn't sound like a lack of effort, which is why we lost. I think maybe they just got outplayed. Tysher was saying, LMU is just bigger, faster, and that's understandable. So I'm not too disappointed in the loss. I would have liked them to finish better. I would have liked at least a 10-point loss. They just laid an egg, and that's really disappointing to me. But I hope they can get it fixed. What was I gonna say? I'm not off board yet. I think I need to see them on Saturday against maybe a better opponent and see how they play against them. But yeah, let's see how they go. I'm still a little optimistic. But kind of also, I don't want to get too optimistic. I put out a tweet and I'm already getting roasted for it, so maybe I need to chill out a little bit.
I'm kind of on the same playing field as you, though, Andrew. Like, I get it. People want people want to win. Like, they were so disgusted from the football season that they're starved for a winner. So it's an easy game after this one that you lose by 14 at home against Loyola Marymount to jump off the wagon on this team. Like, it's going to be harder to watch this team moving forward. And Saturday, I have no expectations. I really don't. Like, this is a Utah State team that's in the Mountain West, that is a contender. Like, this is a UTEP team who is still outside looking in Conference USA. It is what it is. It is how it sounds, and that's what UTEP has to try to play against. And I think I'm going to circle that UAB game later this month to see how this team is gelling together over a couple weeks. Like, Locomotive Minor said something, because Joe Golding after the game talked about how in the second half we look like a team that is still learning how to play together, a new team figuring out where to go, and it got away from us. Everyone is trying to do it, but we need to do it as a team. Locomotive Minor was saying, I don't buy this. Every team in the country is going through this now, alluding to year-to-year roster making, year-to-year builds and stuff like that. Sure, I agree. I agree with that. Everybody's going through that, and everybody is kind of dealing with that kind of stuff. But Loyola Marymount did have some foundational pieces, and you look at their leading scorer, Myron Amy Jr., 18 points today. That was somebody UTEP went after in the transfer portal, guys. I mean, he's a San Jose transfer, and Zay, he was somebody who the Miners really were high on, they wanted, and ultimately he went to Loyola Marymount, and look at what happened tonight. I mean, he looked like a really good player. This is not to say anything against the UTEP players currently on this roster, but these are the kind of battles they're going up against in recruiting, and in this case right here in Loyola Marymount, they came out with a big victory tonight.
Yeah, and he was their leading scorer tonight, 18 points. And I mean, at the end of the day, look, winning cures everything. I think, if UTEP has a winning season under the belt, the money will come, everything will come, but until then, we're sitting here talking about these missed recruiting battles. We're talking about these home losses by double digits, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. But, I'm going to stick by what I said. I'm not going to judge this team fully until January. I did think that they were going to win this one, honestly. I did think coming into here that they were going to win just because, look, home game in November, those are games that the Joe Golding squads, they usually come out victorious, dating back to maybe even year 2. They're usually pretty good at home in November, but they got beat today. They got beat in the second half, and part of that was because Myron Amy played so good.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you on that. Let's go back to the phones right now. 915-505-6009. Back to full phone lines we go. Diego's next with us. Diego, what's up, man? How are you?
It's good. I'm glad. At first, I was glad that UTEP basketball is back. It was a fun first half. Caleb Blackwell draining some threes, and then they just totally fell apart. And I was really expecting a lot more from some of those guys, man, particularly Kasim Watson. I know it's early. You can tell they're still kind of learning how to play with each other. But, man, Golding's home record, if I've calculated this correctly, he's 8-7 at home against Division I teams since the start of last year. So barely over 500. Pretty disappointing that this is kind of where UTEP is at. Like, we realize, like, they're not anywhere close to even, like, mid-tier, really, in the world of college basketball. They just look so much smaller and less athletic. And I'm like, also, it looks like they just, like, work out less. Like, the guys in LMU were just look shredded. They were huge. I was like, I don't know if Goldie's got to fix the conditioning or something, but I think above all, like, he needs to win against Division I teams at home, man. Like, it's not like they're bringing in, like, these top-tier Power 4 programs. Like, they're also mid-tier college basketball programs that we can't even beat at home.
The weight room comment is so, like, I'm looking at like the 7-footer down low. This isn't like your bad mid-major 7-footer. This is a guy with some muscle, and he's just bodying everybody at down low with the Miners. And I think they wanted to put more weight on guys like Kasim Watson, guys like Elijah Jones, even guys like KJ Thomas, who has gotten bigger, but he needs to get even bigger than what he's done from freshman year to sophomore year. And I guess that's a bit of a challenge for them. I'm not too sure, Diego, but I worry about the physicality aspect and the size aspect for the rest of the season. I really do. Like, teams with size, it's going to be just a clear advantage over the Miners.
Yeah, and I like the heart that Jamal West plays with, but man, against a team of long athletes, like he just doesn't really stack up that well against some of these other teams that aren't Western New Mexico or whoever they played the other day. So I'm kind of worried about it, man. I also didn't like how they were kind of like sagging off and ignoring Jamal West, and it was kind of clogging up the offense a little bit. But just gonna stay with it. I think this team's gonna be pretty mid-tier this year based on this game, but I guess we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you for weighing in. That's Diego Mendoza Moyers, El Paso Matters, as we continue. 915-505-6009. Check out El Paso Matters, by the way. One of my favorites, one of my favorite publications to read here in town. Nolan is next with us, and then we'll go to Rolly, and then we've got Tom, 915-505-6009. Nolan, good evening, man. What's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear, my man. Go ahead.
All right, so I've been on the listening for a little bit, and I've been hearing a bunch of people talking about possibly like moving the coaching staff around, but I don't think it's about pitching at all. I feel like Golding was getting them in the right spots. 38% is not going to get a coverage anyway, I don't think.
Yeah, they were 35% from the field, 43% from beyond the arc, 75% from the charity stripe. By the way, I don't like the missed free throws. And then they forced 19 turnovers, and they get 19 points off turnovers. But really, look at that rebound margin, 39-25. Miners get out-rebounded by 14, and they lose by 14.
Yeah, check that. You can't have that. But, I mean, I feel like he was getting them in the right spot. I don't know. The shots just weren't falling like usual.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Good stuff, Nolan. I hear you, man. I appreciate your phone call, Nolan. Thank you for weighing in. 915-505-6009. Let's go. Let's keep it moving. Rolly is next with us. 915-505-6009. If you've been waiting to get a phone call in, now is the time to do it. We freed up some phone lines. Rolly, what's going on? How are you?
Who the hell's Rolly? It's Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie. I was like, Rolly? What is Rolly? And I even asked Andy, is this Rolly? How do you pronounce it? Oh, man, it's great to talk to you. Ronnie, let me reintroduce you. Now going over to our Hall of Famer, Ronnie, who's back with us. Ronnie, it's late. I don't know why you're still with us here on the program tonight, and I appreciate you for doing it. This is a great night to have you on the program. Your initial thoughts on the new look Joe Golding squad?
When's that Terrell Stemmy hitting? My goodness, brother. My goodness. Here we go again. Oh, boy.
Sometimes you just have to laugh, Ronnie. Like, we've done way too many of these, right?
I don't even, dude, I don't literally only watch UTEP basketball, guys, because of you guys. I'm canceling my YouTube membership, I'm getting a real life, and I'm just hanging up the Miners sports forever. Like, at this point, it's literally just for you, Paul, Zay, and the crew, because this is just, I mean, first of all, look, they're not going to fire anybody, because that would make the administration admit that we don't know how to hire coaches in any sport. We don't know what we're doing, and they're never going to do that because no one wants to take blame or like deflect blame. Well, you're not going anywhere. I mean, dude, this is the same old, same old. They're still struggling to score 60 points. I've said this year after year. You can't be anybody in college basketball with strong level scoring 58, 59 points. You know, it's a hodgepodge. The players come in, players come out. I mean, there's just no continuity with Miner basketball, man. Like, there's not been one kid that you said, okay, let's keep him, wrap arms around him, and he's our go-to guy for the next, 24, 36 months. I mean, it's just a revolving door of, okay, this guy's supposed to be the guy. Okay, well, we fell short with that guy, so we're going to hit again. And I mean, dude, like, listen, Golding is coach at this point was just living off what he did at Blake Christian, but that has not been replicated from the Miners. And I don't care what he did at Blake Christian. I'm not taking anything away from what he did at Blake Christian, but it has not mattered at UTEP because it didn't put UTEP into the tournament. It didn't put UTEP into conference championship, so none of that matters. What he did in the past just does not matter, and it has not replicated, and it has not worked. And what's so funny about this is we can't even fire these dudes because we don't have money. We don't know how to hire people anyway. And the next guy they hire would just be inept anyway. I mean, we really went from Rodney Terry to Joe Golding, and the results are still the same. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter who they put in seat. It is literally, at this point, a problem that starts at the administration. Before I'd say fire Golding, I'd say just go ahead and fire Center, because I think that's where all the root of the problems start for all sports across the board. And when you fix the root of a tree, you have a chance to give a tree life. But if you never fix the root, the tree just ends up dying anyway. That's the real heart of UTEP athletics is at this point.
Yeah, I mean, do you go even higher? Do you go even higher and wonder, like, does Heather Wilson care at this point? Like, in all reality, because UTEP in some years they'll have a down year in football, or most years I should say they'll have a down year in football, and then basketball is usually that lifeline that kind of at least hangs around and makes you happy and makes you excited. But if this is a down year for basketball, Ronnie, and this is game one, really, right? Like, this is game one, super crazy overreactions after game one. But I'm just playing the if game. If this ends up being a bad, year, then this is all around a pretty bad athletics year, other than volleyball, which could still be the shining star regardless of anything. But yeah, I mean, this could be a real, and we've experienced this not too long ago, within this decade. We've experienced years where UTEP in football and in men's basketball has just been awful. And that's your money-making sports. And you're trying to make money going into the Mountain West. Not a good way to kind of translate it to head over to a bigger conference like that. Ronnie, before we let you go, ESPN hired Rodney Terry, and I just want to make sure, are you joining the booth with him? Like, are you going to be a part of this one as well?
I'd love to, but he's still mad at me when I called him when he was the Miners coach last season. But I'd love to join him and talk a little SEC hoops and
maybe the Pelicans could bring you on too as a scout.
I think that's actually what he's there for, is to commentate and scout. I mean, the man does have an eye for talent. Let's not knock what.
Okay, but what is he going to say? I've never heard him say anything before, Ronnie. Like, he kind of says the same old. He's just going to be awesome in the suits. Maybe if he does have that charisma, it'll be exciting, but I just wonder what he's going to say.
I mean, let's be real, man. Zion's hurt yet again, so the Pelicans ain't going to do shit either, so it don't even matter what he says. I mean, without Zion, who's watching that team anyway?
Oh, man. I hear you, man. Hey, Ronnie, as always, it's great to hear from you. I appreciate your phone call. Thank you for weighing in. Great phone call here on the program as we continue. 915-505-6009. That's our telephone number. 600 ESPN El Paso, Twitter next, and 600 ESPN El Paso on our free app. Tom is next with us. Tom, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Good to hear from you. Went to the game, and I think everything's been said so far from what I've heard. I'm going to throw something different out there. I don't dislike Joe Golding. I think he's a good guy, but there needs to be a change. But I think what UTEP's going to have to do, because of this UIL or whatever they call it, and then portal.
Yeah, NIL, transfer portal, yeah.
NIL, whatever it is. Yeah, thing's totally wrecked. But I think they need to do a Moneyball move, okay, like the movie, okay, and they need to do something completely out of the box. And what they need to do is go recruit guys like that number 7 for Loyola Marymount, the point guard, a 6'6" guy that is from Domžale, Slovenia. Okay.
Yeah, going to play with Luka. Like, he can legit play on the national team with Luka.
Because these type of guys or students would be more than happy to get a degree from an American university. So go recruit in Argentina, see if you can find the next Ginobili, go to Slovenia, go to Poland, go Germany, wherever the heck you got to go and pull some players, because the type of players that we're getting out of the AAU mix and mash of a bunch of kids that have no idea how to play basketball, all they know how to do is run and gun and give it to each other and say, hey, you give it a try and see if you can score. You give it a try. There's not one pick out there. There's not one screen. Nobody's boxing out. They're getting – it was a joke. I mean, it's not even basketball. It's 5 guys standing on the perimeter, and then somebody just decides to dribble it down the lane and try and score. I mean, if that's all we're going to watch all year, what's the point? Let's get some people that know how to play basketball, and Either that or it's the coaching. But I don't see any fundamentals at all for the last couple of years under this coach. And it's very frustrating. I've been hanging in there for the last couple of years, trying to be positive, but come on, why would they not double team the 6'6" point guard and steal the ball from him coming up the court? Why was he not so out of breath by the second half that he could even walk? You press this dude all game long, shirt to shirt, the whole length of the court until he can't even, it's just no traps, nothing, And then by that time, they just put the big 7'1" dude in, and we're done. So I'm sorry. I just had to unload.
No, I mean that was good stuff, Tom. You know your basketball. You've called him before. I know you, and you know your basketball. And look, when it comes to Vide, who like you mentioned, the Slovenian player, he was a really good dude, and he was just kind of that guy. But look at his background. He came from UCLA, a high Division I recruit that they got out of the transfer portal. Like, this Loyola Marymount team was built in a certain way that is going to probably work for the squad out of the West Coast Conference. But that right there is also a two-bid league, and they're fighting an uphill battle to be a relevant team in that conference. It only takes one or two teams, and one of them being Gonzaga, the other one usually being St. Mary's. Like that's a tough conference right there in order to kind of stand out and make yourself be seen. So for Loyola Marymount, they needed to stay up there in recruiting. They felt like the pressure on their side as well, and I think they built a pretty solid roster going into this year. But you flip it over with the Miners. If you have limits on NIL and you don't have what you have other places, then maybe you should get a little just do something outside the box and go out and recruit some of those international players who can't necessarily sign NIL deals unless you pay them on their country's soil or something like that. Like, you have to get super creative in order to pay those players. And like you mentioned, some of them just want a chance to play in the States and have a chance to come to, United States and get a degree out here. So I could see the value in that.
These guys, there was that Jan guy or John or whatever, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Anyway, he was the only guy dribbling the ball. Okay, 6'6". He did 80% of the dribbling for his team. The other guys would maybe dribble once or twice, but they did it strategically to give themselves a shot or get them in a position to make a pass. Okay, that's basketball. Let's see Golden's team start scoring off the pass. Okay, stop the dribbling, stop the three-point shots. We don't have very many big guys, but the two, Jones and the other tall guy, are standing up at a three-point line. I'm like, well, what's going on here? We got a battle inside, and we're going to have to get on the foul line. And Thomas is just going to have to distribute, and the other one or two other point guards that are true point guards. But the other guys have to move without the ball and help each other out. They're not creating any separation of their defenders away from the ball with the guys that don't have the ball. Nobody's sitting pick. I don't even think they understand how to set a pick, quite frankly. I really don't think they've ever done it. I think they've just grown up playing AAU basketball. It's just a bunch of, basically it's pick-up basketball. It's run and gun and pick up and see what you can do and, have a fast break and dunk it. So, that's not going to cut it. These guys schooled us in the second half. It was literally an education for UTEPs. They can look at the highlights and just learn. The other thing is, can we get Billy Gillespie back as head coach? I think they should try. Anyway.
Oh, man. All right, Tom. I appreciate your phone call. Thanks for weighing in. Sal, bring it back here on the program. Just a lot of emotional calls here tonight after Game 1. That was right away. We get all the emotional calls here on the program.
How about this? I think we were 5 minutes into the broadcast and we already heard CUSA is a one-bid league. That's my favorite part so far. So overreaction on a Tuesday. I love it, man, and I can't wait until the 15th when they play Utah State. It's going to be fun. So we'll see what kind of calls we get then as well.
Hey, Zay, I got to bring you back. You like the Billy Gillespie comment, huh?
I'm looking at the camera on Inspo Lens right now, and that'll tell you my answer. But
man.
The 15th, I'm looking forward to that one too, because not only do we have UTEP versus Utah State in basketball, we have UTEP taking on, who do they play?
Missouri State.
Missouri State in football. So we might be
You're already done with football season. You forgot who they play.
We might be here until 2 a.m. fielding some animated calls if those games go the way that they look like they're going to go.
Okay, I'm going to take a double L there. I mean, come on, man. Maybe one win, and it's football, maybe. I mean, realize this, guys. Utah State's going to the Pac-12. Like, they've got, if New Mexico, if Nevada, if all these schools over there already have $2 million, they've got $2.5 million, like in NIL. Like, that's a team with money. So that roster is going to look far, far different than UTEP's roster based on money. And that's just the reality. That's just facts. And unfortunately, this is the era of NIL, and that's how you have to recruit against right now. Here, as you continue, that's a $4 million or that's a $2.5 million roster right there, Zay.
Yeah, and I mean, it's I don't know if it's too early to say this because they don't play yet, but Utah State is on the way to owning UTEP athletics. Unfortunately,
oh man,
they beat them out to the Pac-12, and they beat them in football to start the year, and now we're looking at a basketball. We'll see what happens on Saturday. I think the most UTEP thing to happen is they somehow win that game, but. Yeah, I mean, they're going to the Pac-12, and I'll say this. They're not going to the Pac-12 only because of their football team. They have an amazing basketball program.
They do.
Year in and year out, and I think that's one of the better reasons that they're going to the Pac-12. I think that a lot of this realignment talk focuses on football, but Pac-12 is going to be pretty good in basketball.
It will be. I mean, that's your new Mountain West right there, and it's going to have good winning on their side. Let's do this. We've got a couple phone calls to get to. We got Leon, we've got Kevin, but we really have to take a break right now. Let's take a timeout right now. When we come back, we'll get to more calls, 915-505-6009. If you want to weigh in, now is the time to do it. 600 ESPN El Paso, Twitter and X, 600 ESPN El Paso on our app. We'll take a break right now. MinerTalk, presented by Jack in the Box. More in a moment right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Cruising down the streets of BP, you know where the miners be. Tune in when the sun goes down, MinerTalk's the word of town. From the Sun Bowl to the lights, we're talking football every night. Win or lose, we're standing tall, El Paso's pride, we've seen it all. MinerTalk, we're keeping it real, every play, every drill. From the field to the mic, we're all in, ready to strike. El Paso nights, the stars so bright. MinerTalk's got the spotlight. Orange and blue, we never stall. Talking miners standing tall. Franklin Mountains in the back, with the miners on the attack. We break it down every snap. With every fan, we bridge the gap. The Rio Grande that flows so wide. MinerTalk's our city's pride. From the lows to the heights, we're here for those game nights. MinerTalk, we're keeping it real. Every play, every drill. From the field to the mic, we're all in, ready to strike. El Paso nights, the stars so bright. MinerTalk's got the spotlight. Orange and blue, we never stall. Talking miners standing tall. Crowd, every voice we make it proud. From the heart of El Paso, where every miners let them know. MinerTalk, we're keeping it real. Every play, every drill. From the field to the mic, we're all in, ready to strike. El Paso nights, the stars so bright. MinerTalk's got the spotlight. Orange and blue, we never stall. Talking miners standing tall.
presented by Jack in the Box, along with Sal Montes, my co-host, along with my other co-host, Zay Galindo. Andy Inestrosa is producing the show, screening the calls, making sure everything sounds good here on Miner Talk. We appreciate you, Andy. Thanks for sticking around for some late-night Miner Talk. Appreciate Chris Collins from Inspo Lens here, live and in person. Shout out Inspo Lens. Check us out. We are live right now currently on YouTube, live on Twitter and X. Check us out. It's Inspo Lens. You can watch Miner Talk and see our reactions and our faces when we talk here on the program as well. We will have our fantasy basketball draft coming up here soon. Sal, I'm going to task you with the randomizer, okay? So put Chris, put Zay, put yourself, and put myself in there. And I'm tasking you with finding a randomizer. Even Chat GPT, if Chat will give you a randomizer. We just need a draft order, basically, of how we're going to get this done. So I'll task you with that while we take some calls. 915-505-6009. We've got Leon, and then we've got Kevin going to join us next. So Leon's going to start us off. Leon, I appreciate you waiting with us through the break. Good evening, my friend. What's going on?
Forward to basketball season, and it's going to be the first call I have. By the way, you guys do a fantastic job. I tell you this all the time, and giving us a place to vent. I know that there's even a minor digs out there for us to go on and talk about, but it's hard to follow up Tom's call. He said everything I wanted to say. What an outstanding call that happened before this. I'm not quite at Billy Gillespie yet, but if there was another choice, don't think that's a bad one. I know Don Haskins said this a long time ago, and it was right after they won in the 92 tournament against Kansas. And towards the end of the interview, I think it was on ESPN, he said, they said, hey, we're going to wish you a lot of luck. And the one thing he said was, I believe defense and good defense and good rebounding will overcome luck. And it just doesn't seem like that adjustment was made this year. I don't know if it's effort, but it's definitely size. And the other thing that this has proven, and it's disappointing, is I don't know if Golding knows how to adjust in the second half. The other coach really did school that and did what they had to do to come up on top. I was looking forward to the season. I'm not quite checked out because there is some talent on this team, but I don't know if it's going to outweigh the talent of the other squads that we're playing this year. And I have to say Tom hit a lot of points, and a lot of callers did tonight. And Billy Gillespie is the next one online. I don't know if we're there yet, but
oh my goodness.
Hey, Adrian, I don't know what else.
No, I'm not there.
Let's see what happens this year, and we're going to wish them a lot of luck. It's early, but a lot of good points made by a lot of good callers tonight, and let's hope they figure out the rebounding and some of that talent on defense. Thanks, guys. Yep.
Thank you. Hey, appreciate you, Leon. Thanks for the kind words here on the program. 915-505-6009. What's with the Billy G talk, guys? I mean, Tarleton State 2-2 right now. Billy Gillespie, they just beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi and Merrimack.
Well, I will say this. Billy Gillespie
come on.
as literally my favorite high school basketball player of all time, Dior Johnson, is on that team. And I'll tell you this. If you would have told me Dior Johnson is playing for Billy Gillespie, if you know who Dior Johnson is, like, those two personalities are going to clash in a way that I could have never expected. But, hey, the guy knows how to recruit. You know, you got a performer, I think he was a 5-star at Tarleton State, so good for Billy G. But, yeah, I'm not there yet.
Dior Johnson, former UCF Knight, by the way. 6'3" junior guard, 32 points the other night. Off the bench, by the way. So there's your Dior Johnson right there. I got your Dior Johnson right here. Let's go to sidelines. Let's go to Kevin, who's joining us next. 915-505-6009. Kevin, we sat next to each other the entire game. You were out there, UTEP sidelines _UTEP to check him out on Twitter and X. You're back with us here on the program. Your initial takeaways from the 2025-2026 UTEP basketball team.
I mean, Adrian, it's way too early to judge this team, guys. I'm hearing all these doomer calls, especially that Billy Gillespie call that just made me laugh
laugh out loud, man. That is hilarious. They want him out at Tarleton. I don't know if I would want him anywhere back near UTEP. But anyways, UTEP just didn't come out in the second half, man. They looked flat. The effort just didn't look like they were there. And, I mean, Joe said it perfectly in the press conference. They just looked like a brand-new team in the second half. And, man, looking at LMU's roster, man, they just have so much more size than UTEP, man. And that's going to be an issue moving forward for this team. I think it's going to be going against teams with real size. And quite frankly, man, UTEP still doesn't really have a true big. You know, I loved what I see from Jamal West tonight, but, man, when he goes up against bigger guys that are like 6'10", 7 foot, it may be an issue for this squad.
That's the thing. They're going to play smaller with him trying to be bigger than his size actually indicates. So 6'6" is his frame, but he's going to try to play like he's 6'10", 240. You know, and I think Jamal West is going to be their most consistent guy night in, night out, for whatever that might be. He's not Kevin Kalu. He's not necessarily that big body down low. Could he be FEODG? And I think that's what you have to hope for, is that maybe defensively he can hang in games. The big FEODG, by the way. Can he be that kind of guy and that kind of shooter? I think the threes falling flat in the second half was a product of poor shot selection, not just by him, but by a lot of the guys on that team, on the Miners. And then, you know, what you saw from him in the first half was him really attacking the rim. And in the second half, it was like, are you the guy? Like, you try to be the answer? And unfortunately, he could not make any of those shots from deep, from beyond the arc, or, you know, from those mid-range jumpers. And that was the shortcomings right there. I think he's going to have the spotlight on him brighter than anybody. And can he handle that pressure? Can he be that guy who can go up against 7-footers every single night? That's going to be something that we're going to have to monitor. And Kasim Watson's bigger than him. I should say taller than him. He's 6'9", but Kasim Watson's much skinnier. So he goes up against, you know, the other team's 4 or stuff like that. And then I would say this, Kevin, LMU went small in a lot of lineups, and they still beat the Miners. Like, they went smaller in certain approaches, and they were finding their way to the basket. They were hitting three-pointers against the Miners, and in the second half, UTEP didn't really have an answer.
Trying to find their, like, you know, their go-to shooter, and it's still so early in the year. And I mean, I know it's frustrating because, I mean, they look like a great shooting offense in the first half, and then the second half they just, you know, coming out flat. And you know, we've seen it a lot from the past from Joe Golding's teams where they start off fast and they just kind of end it poorly. You hope they clean that up come December, January, but all the dooming calls, man, just not right now. I think you've got to give this team a little bit more time to really judge them. But kind of a bad loss tonight. You wish you could see more in the second half. But, you know, you're not defined in basketball in November and December. You're defined in ending of January, February, and March. So,
your thoughts on seeing Trey Horton III on the bench?
I mean, it's good to see Trey back with the team, man. You know, I think we could have used him a little bit tonight in the second half when we went cold, you know. I think Trey provides that, you know, that extra three-point shot off the bench that, you know, UTEP has just kind of been missing throughout the years, you know. And, you know, some days Trey will have, you know, a really good day, or, you know, some days he'll be a little bit cold. But either way, man, I think they shot the three-point well in the first half, just couldn't get it going consistently in the second. I'm not too sure if Trey Horton saves you from that, but he probably makes the deficit a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Toe-to-toe with their defenders, you know.
I feel like you asked me at one point, like, who's this team's three-point shooter, and I just thought it was Trey. Like, I said Trey. I mean, he's their sharpshooter, really. I mean, yeah, and I think you assessed it a good way, man. What do you think about their game against Utah State? Before we let you go, just your final thoughts here as the Miners travel to Logan and take on a really good Utah State team.
The boys are going to love Logan this time of year. I mean, in the summer it was beautiful, but playing in Spectrum, man, that's going to be a tall task, man. Kind of what Zay was alluding to earlier, what they've built at Utah State, and not just college football, but men's basketball, man, it's damn near tremendous. And now that they're going to the Pac-12, you know, even, like I think I talked about this with you in Sports Talk, Adrian. Like, even if they beat Utah State, I'm still not going to hang the NCAA tournament banner. Like, I'm just not there yet. I want to see what the spread's going to look like. I think they'll probably start off as a 20-point spread, but Man, if UTEP just remains competitive, comes out firing, what more can you ask for against Utah State?
Wow, a 20-point spread. Man, maybe, you know what, I'm going to guess the line, and I'll say 10 at least. I mean, like, come on, 20-point spread, that'd be crazy. But, yeah, maybe it ends up happening. Maybe that ends up being the number. Utah State, by the way, per KenPom, 39. So people think of them pretty highly, you know, going into this game on Saturday. But 20-point spread, Zay, that's a lot.
If you would have told, like, if you go back to, like, 1990, right, and you tell a UTEP fan that in, like, 30 years, the UTEP would be 20-point underdogs to Utah State.
No.
They would have, like, I think
they're not going to be 20-point underdogs.
They would have had, like, a heart attack.
I think so too. That is almost blasphemous for the history that is UTEP basketball. 915-505-6009. Again, we are presented by Jack in the Box. Cravings don't have a curfew. Open 24/7, 365 here in El Paso and of course Las Cruces. Want to give a big shout out to Boomy Dental. I've got my El Paso Roots t-shirt on right now. Love this one. Love rocking it. If you're looking to change your dentist, if you are looking for a dentist with flexible rescheduling, easy to book appointments, check out Boomy Dental. I'm ready for my appointment myself. BUMIdental.com. Check them out. They're right on the east side off Lee Trevino, 1612 Lee Trevino. That's a big shout out to Boomy Dental. Also want to give a big plug to Thomas Adams Apparel. You can shop in style with Thomas Adams Apparel. Check out their fall selection, by the way, online at thomasadamsapparel.com. I'm rocking my MinerTalk hat. Our friends at 915 Tours brought these, but Thomas Adams Apparel is the ones who made these hats. So if you're looking at make some hats for your sports teams, for your podcast, for your business, check out thomasadamsapparel.com. They can hook you up. They can make these these nice little rubber logos that we've got too. We're totally out of these MinerTalk hats, by the way. So we're like completely out. We didn't sell them at all. We just gave them away at all of our live shows and gave them away to all of our listeners and supporters who've been with us. If you didn't get these, don't worry. We're going to have hopefully a drop soon enough. And big shout out to our great friends over at Thomas Adams Apparel. Also, last two shout outs. Want to shout out the District Pub and Kitchen West. They are our home before every UTEP basketball game, before every UTEP football game. So we're out there. We're having a good time. It was the tailgate last weekend, and today, right before tip-off, we were hanging out there for Taco Tuesday. So it was a lot of fun out there at the District Pub and Kitchen West. And then lastly, but not least, 915 Tours. If you're looking to go to a Dallas Cowboys game the rest of the season, the Eagles game or the Chiefs game, they've got travel packages from El Paso to Dallas. It includes a hotel stay at the Omni Hotel in Dallas, and it includes a tailgate and, of course, a meet and greet with a player and your ticket to see the Dallas Cowboys. So that's 915tours.com as we continue. Guys, I think we're almost ready. I think we're about ready to do a draft. We're just going to take this call from Chris, and then we're going to get to our draft. Our draft order, by the way, is going to be great. Chris Collins with the first overall pick. I hope he knows who he's going to pick because we're going quick, and I'm going to react after every pick. But Chris has the first pick. Zay's got the second pick. I've got the third pick, and Sal's got the fourth pick. And then it's a snake draft right after that. So I hope you guys know who you're going round one because I know where I'm going. And the sad thing is Zay is picking ahead of me, and Chris is too. And Chris got a first look, but he knows ball. He got that first look at UTEP basketball tonight. So I'm interested to hear his takes. Chris is next up with us, though, on the phones. A different Chris, not Chris, our guy Chris here from Inspo Lens. Chris is back with us here on the phone lines, 915-505-6009. If you want to duck in a phone call, now's the time to do it. Chris, good evening, man. What's up?
Good morning. Good evening. Thanks for you guys doing what you do. It's always fun to listen after the games.
Good morning.
Do you think it's time to sound the emergency sirens on UTEP athletics? I think over the last 5 years, you've just seen dwindling attendance in football and in basketball. Now it's not unusual to have under 10,000 at a football game, under 4,000 at a basketball game with a decent team. That would never have happened in years past. And so ultimately, Adrian, you're right. The buck stops with the president. And if she has to get on the phone and call alumni, call business, call local leaders, to give so that we have competitive teams, she's got to do that. And unfortunately, that's not happened under her tenure here. And the UTEP brand is suffering because of terrible football results and now terrible basketball. Quite frankly, it's affecting the city of El Paso brand. And it's being reflected in the support or the lack of support that you're seeing now in both of the revenue sports. And so it starts at the top. As far as UTEP basketball, I was not optimistic once I heard Golding say we really couldn't get a big man, and so we're deciding to play small and fast. They're not going to be able to rebound with any decent teams. They don't have the outside shooting to neutralize the lack of rebounding. And so I hope I'm wrong, but I'm expecting a long season, and I don't see how you go into the Mountain West with a coach who can't recruit and who can't make adjustments in the second half. But ultimately, it starts at the top with Heather Wilson.
You know, the lack of support in football was they announced 9,500 or something like that, but man, there was like 3,000 maybe at the Sun Bowl on Saturday. Like, that's a sad sight to see. And then 3,500 for arguably the most important home game in non-conference play in basketball. Fans are letting the attendance numbers show or speak for themselves.
Yeah, and this isn't on the fans. This is on the athletics.
No, it's not on the fans. You're right.
After a year, it's losing, and after a while, you can only take so much.
This city is starved for a winner, Chris. Outside the city, people outside who still root are starved for winners, like in UTEP sports. That's why you see volleyball do as well as they have and then pack out Club Memorial night in, night out. Fans want to cheer for a winner. Like, they show up to the volleyball games because they win, and they're exciting and they're fun.
Yeah, I don't want to hear fans blamed at all this year. I think the blame needs to be ultimately at the president, whose part of her portfolio is oversight of the athletic department, and under her tenure, it's been a failure.
Sure, I hear you. Hey, man, I appreciate your phone call, Chris. Thank you for weighing in. Thanks for weighing in on this topic here on the program with us. Our telephone number, 915-505-6009, 600 ESPN El Paso, Twitter next, 600 ESPNElPaso.com. Guys, we're about ready to do it. We're about ready to rip the Band-Aid off and jump on board with our fantasy team. I think Andy and Estrosa and Sal have just formed an alliance back there. So I think that's what happened, is they're forming an alliance back there. And I think Andy has been recruited to Sal's team. So I think we're going to call it Team Andy and Sal over there. We've got Chris with the first overall pick. He has a mic, and he's going to be ready to go. And then we, of course, have Zay, who's here in the building as well. Everybody in this room is opinionated. Everybody here has thoughts on how this should go. And we're going to do it. Last year we had a lot of fun with this. We basically picked in fantasy, almost like fantasy football, but this is fantasy college basketball. But we picked our players from last year's team, and we stuck with them the entire season. And last year we didn't have a statistical way to actually gauge who won, who lost, who had success, who didn't. We just kind of had an eye test. And last year, shout out our boy Alberto, it was Sal versus Zay versus me versus Alberto. Chris Collins is stepping in today. He's our fourth member of the team. And, of course, Andy's with us as well. And he joins us here on MinerTalk as we continue. But, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to whip around. We're going to each pick our player, who we want. It's just like fantasy purposes. And, Chris, you got that mic right there. You're going to go in with your first overall pick. Are you do you have your first pick ready? Do you have your first? Yeah, he knows who he's going for his first pick, and it's going to be probably KJ Thomas here. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say. But Chris Collins is going to start us off. Then it's going to be it's going to be Zay Galindo. Then and then it's going to be me, and then it's going to be you, Sal. So let's make it happen. All right, Chris, you're up first. Your first overall pick here for the 2025-2026 fantasy team is, go ahead.
I'm going to pick Jamal West Jr.
Wow, okay. Jamal West Jr. goes 1-1. There it is. Jamal West Jr., the Baltimore, Maryland native, gets a chance to be the first overall pick in our fantasy draft, and Chris has him. He is off the board. Zay, all right, man. You have the floor. Go ahead.
Guys, I can absolutely break Adrian's heart
Yes,
right now.
you can, because he knows where I'm going.
I could literally... You might see him shed a tear on Minor Talk.
I might, but I'm confident with two of them. So whichever way you pick, I'll pick the other way. Because there's two picks that are staring you in the face.
They are staring me straight into the face, and there's one pick that I know I should not make. Like I'm not a fan of this guy, and I'm not gonna make it. You know, Adrian's gonna have a good day. I'm gonna take Kasim Watson.
Wow, there's two really good players. That wasn't even my guy on my list. Kasim Watson has been taken by Zay.
He had 0 points. Or he didn't make a field
goal.
You
have to stick with this player for the whole season. Are you sure?
I am sure. He projects to, in my opinion, I think he has the most potential. And I'll take the 6'9" scorer. You know, I'll take it because once conference play comes, I don't believe in any of these guys besides Kasim Watson.
Tyrese Watson is my pick. 1A for me. No question about it. I'm buying all the stock on Tyrese Watson Island. I've got a beachfront property on Tyrese Watson Island.
Sell it.
I've got the apartments and the condos that are currently being built. If you guys want some land, I got a timeshare there, so I can hook you guys up. Sal, you're gonna give us some back-to-back picks. You can't really go wrong here, Sal. You've got some good options.
I'm gonna go. How about this? I'll go Caleb Blackwell.
Fair.
Right, and then right after that, it's tough. But judging off of what we're gonna see pretty much all year, you're gonna see guys who are not true bigs have to become bigs and log a lot of minutes.
Wow.
This guy won me the league last year. Elijah.
I love it. East Carolina's finest, Elijah Jones. Oh, man. Okay, let's recap it real quick before I get my pick, okay? So the players who are off the board, Jamal West Jr., which was taken by Chris, 1A. The 1B pick was Kasim Watson by Zay. 1C, Tyrese Watson. 1D, Caleb Blackwell. 2, in the second round, the first pick was Elijah Jones. That means my next pick. Oh, man. Well, no, my next pick is KJ Thomas. I feel great about that. I'm good. I will die by the KJ Thomas pick, live and die by it, and I'm going to be living this year because KJ Thomas, Amarillo, Texas' own, Canyon Randall High School's product. He's going to help me out here this season, and I feel comfortable with KJ Thomas as my second pick. 2B here on mine. Zay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Trey Horton. I don't know what to expect.
Wow.
He's my second-round pick. But when he comes back, you know, he's on the bench today. And look, coming back, this guy was coming into the season. This was somebody that I think the coaching staff was pretty high on. I think the fans. I mean, he's a third-year player now. And look, I went a little risky with my first pick with Kasim Watson. So I have to kind of level it out with the guy that maybe doesn't have the highest of ceilings, but I don't think he has a super low floor. So that's the reasoning behind the Trey Horton pick.
Okay, Trey Horton, man, he's already off the board here in the second round. A lot of good players still on the board. David Tubeck, Jordan Hernandez, Bobby Montgomery Jr., L.A. Hayes, C.J. Smith, Cassius Brooks, Mohamed Mbe. Chris, where are you going? Where are you going at this next pick in the second round?
I really liked Cassius Brooks, so I'm gonna go with.
That's a good pick. I was surprised he was still on the board. Look at Chris's picks so far: Cassius Brooks and Jamal West Jr. I mean, that's a pretty good group right there. Zay, it's snake draft, so you get the pick again. Coming back here on this one, where are we going?
I thought it was.
Wow.
Is it not Chris's turn again?
Oh, yeah, it is Chris's turn again. Sorry, Chris, you get back-to-back. Yeah, it's a snake draft. You get back-to-back. This is your final pick here, Chris. So you get one more here on the program. Chris, where are you going? Thank you, Zay.
Who's taken so far?
So taken is KJ Thomas, Caleb Blackwell, Tyrese Watson, Trey Horton, Kasim Watson, Jamal West Jr., Cassius Brooks, and Elijah Jones. So who are we going with? You could choose between David Tubeck, Jordan Hernandez, Bobby Montgomery Jr., L.A. Hayes, and Mohamed Mbe.
part of me wants to get Muhammad, but
Yeah?
I know he's not going to play him. I mean, let's be real here.
You think he's like a Baba? Just
Yeah.
never plays?
Yeah. I feel like Golding has something against big men or something.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Let's see. I'll go with L.A. Hayes.
Okay, that's a good pick. L.A. Hayes is a really good pick. That would have been my pick right there on that one, so that's solid. I actually think, you know what we saw from Muhammad, he did play in that first 2 games, so maybe they wanted to see what they had in him, so we'll see what happens there. Zay, you go ahead. You got a couple players to choose from here.
So I'm at a crossroad because I don't have a big. I don't have a big on my team, and there's 2 bigs left actually. And I mean, I get the joke. I get how Joe Golding feels when he's building a roster. I might just go all guards. I might just go small because I don't want to pick the bigs that are remaining. So you know what? I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna take the freshman Bobby Montgomery.
Man.
I couldn't do it. I was close. Guys. But I could not pick Mbaye or David Tubek.
So I will take Tubek. I will be the Seton Hall transfer spot, and Tubek Island. Everybody's off of it, but I'm. You know what? I'll buy some stock. I guess I got to stick with him. He'll be my pick. Sal, by default, you have both Mbaye and Jordan Hernandez. Okay, so you'll get both those guys right there. And by the way, if we get some Jordan Hernandez minutes, it's either a really good thing or a really bad thing. But I want to see El Paso zone play. So are you cool with that, Sal? By default, you get the last 2 on this one. Okay, so let's go and run it back with all the teams. Okay, so I will start with yours truly, mine. David Tubek, KJ Thomas, and Tyrese Watson. I feel good. I feel good about my team, guys. I feel like I'm ready to go for this year. Chris, he's got Jamal West Jr., Cassius Brooks, and L.A. Hayes. Sneaky good team, guys. It's a sneaky good team right there, Chris. Good stuff. L.A. Hayes is going to have one day where we just say, hey, Chris won the day because L.A. Hayes had 27 points, in a given game. Zay, you had Kasim Watson, Trey Horton, and
Bobby Montgomery.
How do you even justify this? Like, do we need a redraft for you?
My team's gonna win. My team's gonna win. Nobody sees the hype on Kasim yet. I see the hype.
Brandon Ingram, KD, little Kevin Durant.
Better.
And then Sal had Jordan Hernandez. He also had Elijah Jones, and in this one as well, Caleb Blackwell. Yeah, and you know what, Sal? Blackwell might be the guy. He might end up being the person who is their go-to scorer late in games.
Well, so far going into this one, for what it's worth, consider the competition logged the most minutes at we'll round it up to 26 minutes a game. So last year, that's what I was going for. I'm trying to remember. I think I had Corey Camper Jr. and that was my main reason for selecting him is because he's going to play a lot. Elijah Jones, barring foul trouble, should play a lot of games. So really, really looking to see if I could bank on production just based off of being out there by default.
Okay, I think everybody feels good about their teams respectively. We all have hope, and we'll see how the season goes moving forward as we continue it with this one. So Zay is going to help us input this into a fantasy system, and then we're going to make it happen. Utah State is Saturday. We're going to have Miner Talk after that. We'll have a bit of a combo of Miner Talk, a little football, a little basketball, and we'll be in the second half of football. So once we probably start Miner Talk here, so we'll probably just kind of get like a little bit of a merge between the two. But guys, let's whip around. Let's get some final thoughts. We'll start with you, Zay, head of Utah State. Miners are 2-1.
Yeah, unfortunate game. It was disappointing, but like I said, not judging this team until January. But you see the cracks already, which is not a good sign. It's the same old. They're still struggling to score. I mean, Ronnie said it perfectly, right? You're struggling to score 60 points in a Division I basketball game. It's not going to do you any good, especially when, they were kind of Loyola Marymount found ways to get away from UTEP's pressure defense. They did not force as many turnovers in the second half, and hence they didn't score a lot in fast break. As a matter of fact, I think they didn't score any points off turnovers in the second half. And if you know a Joe Golding coach basketball team, you're not going to win a game if that happens. So you need to figure out how to score in the half court. It's been the same issues that plague them, but look, you need a guy. And I will say UTEP has had guys in the past, right? Sule Boom, Tay Hardy. Those are just two guys that I think have played under Joe Golding that really did, they end up being the best scorer, the go-to guy, and those teams end up going pretty far in the Conference USA tournament. But here's the thing, and I'm going optimistic, which I've not been optimistic this whole show with this basketball team. Those guys really don't show up until January, February. So maybe UTEP does have a guy, and he's barely getting underway. And hopefully for my sake, that guy is Kasim Watson.
Okay. Sal Zay was 14, maybe 13 years old when Sule Boom first stepped on the floor for the Miners. Yeah. I mean, years are stacking up. It's been a while since UTEP's had a Sule Boom on their team.
For sure, Sule, one of the, albeit didn't finish the collegiate career here, one of the all-time Miner greats. That's just what it is. I get
especially the 21st century, 100%.
Buckets for sale. So, Sule Boom fan club over here. I think we're all in that party. But going into this one, I mean, man, they had trouble with MJ tonight for LMU. They're gonna have trouble with MJ Collins, another guard who goes by MJ. This guy averages 22 and a half, rounded up to 23 points a game. Pretty efficient from the floor, and did work against VCU, who's a very respectable name in college hoops. So we'll see, man. There's a lot of film. Zay's right. The film is out there. The flaws are starting to show. They're starting to crack, or at least from today. Maybe an overreaction, but that's what teams like Utah State do. And also, just go to ESPN.com, look up Utah State, and you can see different stories. They're already in bracketology talk.
I saw that. Yeah, I was seeing stuff like that. Let's go quickly to Twitter and X. Joe Grisanti, 915. This team sucks, Adrian. No other way to put it. Poorly constructed group. Assassin be killing. Size and much speed and... Wait, no, I'm sorry. Size was too much, and speed was just a bit faster. Happy with what I saw in this game. Little King official, this morbid athletic department needs a full leadership regime change stat. The empty seats in town where college athletics begs to be loved again is a shame. El Paso, Texas Western, UTEP, at Leo_Miner fan. Can and should the Miners just try to have a larger rotation in non-conference so they can get ready for conference play? Also, this Golding team is doomed again if they think jacking up threes is going to be the solution, but I'm sure the coaching staff knows that already. Poncho, great first half great first half. The defense struggled in the first part of the second half, and offense couldn't get a bucket. The team looks promising. Tristan Pence, that post-game interview was awful. We have a clown for a coach. Another poor second-half start dooms UTEP. Seems to be a Joe Golding tradition. Honestly, I hope this team improves. However, with any interior presence, this team has a pretty low ceiling. Don't even get me started on the coaching incompetence. This is Bring Back Miner Rush. Asking for a friend, but is it too early to start is it football season yet post?
That was the best post of the night.
Oh, man.
That was the best post of the night.
Is it too early to talk about 2026 UTEP football, Sal? I think it's too early.
Nah. It's never too early.
Clearwater will crack 4,000 for NMSU, maybe Liberty, possibly ranked. Everything else will be a ghost town. The town is voting with their dollars on Golding and his coaching. This is coming from Trade Politics. Golding is a horrible recruiter. Get some shooters and a bigger big man. Golding teams are always look the same. Horribly ran offense. Box score boy. Just got back from the game. Fact, LMU is more talented. 1-5, 22-7. They were all really talented. Also, UTEP isn't that bad. Went cold in the second half. Number 15 for the Miners. Jamal West. His game resembles Omar Thomas a little. I like our team. Just got to make shots. And then Herman Flores. I remember when 7,000 was bad. Yeah, I remember when that was bad too. RJ, West shows some Vince Hunter-esque attributes. Overall hard-nosed defensive team that plays hero ball in the second half. Manny David, TBH, I didn't expect UTEP to win this one. Hopefully the Utah State game will be a little closer. I'd rather the Miners have a rough start to the season and then finish strong instead of starting strong and then having a rough finish. And then box score boy, the big from LMU cost $1 million. I heard the same thing. I heard the 7-footer was $1 million player.
Checks out. Makes sense. I mean, people don't realize how expensive big men are. In the NIL transfer portal, those are the most sought after recruits. And I mean, I guess my question to UTEP fans is, would you want to spend, maybe $400,000, $500,000 on one big man, and then the rest of your team? What is that the solution? I mean, it's a genuine question because would that work? And I guess we'll never know.
Another thing too is for LMU, there's no football program, so a lot of the NIL gets funded direct.
Sure.
Basketball, they have a bigger. Athletes get a bigger, piece of the pie when it comes to it. But aside from it, man, just looking at what they've done over at LMU, they had to cut some programs as well to really see ahead. This is, I think, 24, 23. They had to cut about 5 or 6 programs. So to kind of foreshadow up to now. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, it paid off, but these are sacrifices that schools, that don't have football programs are having to make. So what does it take for a school such as UTEP or bottom barrel conference USA team, soon to be whatever new conference? What does it take for them to be competitive going forward when you're already behind the 8 ball right now?
Going back to Zay's question, when it comes to the bigs, could you spend, let's say they have $600,000 right now, hypothetically, in NIL, and let's say that number is close to $1 million going into the Mountain West. Would you spend, guys, $500,000 on one big, and then $250 on another big, and then with the rest of the $250, fill out your roster with everything else that you have? Would you be okay with that?
I'd flip it. In a way, I guess flip is the wrong word, but I'd spend maybe like $400,000-$500,000 on a big, and then maybe $150 on a proven scoring guard, and find ways to supplement the rest of your roster that way.
What about you, Sal?
I mean, I'll say yes, just by way of it's something different, you know what I mean? But traditionally, under a Golding system or in a Golding system, bigs find themselves in foul trouble a lot for whatever reason. You could just name a big and you'll see that there's foul trouble there. So would it be money wasted considering the style of play? And what is going to change for that player? They're just going to let him be, or does he have to conform to his system with the rest of the players?
Yeah, and I think last year they had shortcomings in their front court as well. I mean, don't forget, they weren't getting a lot of scoring production out of their front court last year either. So it's been a while since UTEP had consistent play in the front court, and they've had to supplement that through backcourt and how they've played with their guards, in these previous years. But yeah, guys, that'll do it for us. Those were our final thoughts here on the program. Loyola Marymount, 14-point win over the Miners at the Don Haskins Center. 71-58 is the final. Chris Collins from Inspo Lens, Sal Montes, my co-host, Andy Inestrosa here with us as well, Zay Galindo in the house as well. We're signing off today. Thank you so much for listening here to the program with us, and we'll be back in action on Saturday for another edition of Miner Talk, brought to you by Jack in the Box here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Cruising down the streets of BP, you know where the Miners be. Tune in when the sun goes down, Miner Talk's the word in town. From the Sun Bowl to the lights, we're talking football every night. Win or lose, we're standing tall, El Paso's pride, we sing it on. Miner Talk, we're keeping it real. Every play, every drill, from the field to the mic, we're all in, ready to strike. El Paso nights, the stars so bright. Miner Talk's got the spotlight. Orange and blue, we never stall. Talking Miners standing tall. Franklin Mountains in the back, with the Miners on the attack. We break it down every snap, with every fan we bridge the gap. The Rio Grande that flows so wide, Miner Talk's our city's pride. From the lows to the heights, we're here for those game nights. Miner Talk, we're keeping it real. Every play, every drill, from the field to the mic, we're all in, ready to strike. El Paso nights, the stars so bright. Miner Talk's got the spotlight. Orange and blue, we never stall. Talking Miners, standing tall. We shout out loud, the Miner crowd. Every voice, we make it proud. From the heart of El Paso, where every Miners let them know. MinerTalk, we're keeping it real. Every play, every drill. From the field to the mic, we're all in, ready to strike. El Paso nights, the stars so bright. MinerTalk's got the spotlight. Orange and blue, we never stall. Talking Miners, standing tall.